Hello, what is up guys? EvilDuoStorm here today. I'm back with another Black Desert video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at one of the most popular requests I've gotten in the comment section of my videos, as well as during live streams, and that is a beginner's guide to AFK fishing. So this guide is only going to cover AFK fishing. I'm not going to cover manual fishing beyond how to play the minigame. So if you're interested in learning how to do AFK fishing, you're a completely new player, have no idea what you're doing, this video guide is for you. Real quick, before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel, new to Black Desert, or enjoy the content on the channel, please consider subscribing. We'd greatly appreciate it, and we're pushing for 20k. Without further ado, let's get into it, and let's get started. So I think the first place to start with this type of video is going to be the 3 stats that impact your auto fishing the most with regards to your character. So those 3 stats are going to be your fishing level, your fishing mastery, and the auto fishing time stat that's applied to certain gear. So to get started with the first 2, press the P key on the keyboard to open up your My Information tab and take a look at this Battle Stats tab. Under the Battle Stats tab, you will see a fishing level, and this fishing level is out of a maximum of 5 possible points. Each level that you add to this reduces the amount of time it takes you to get your initial bite. Maxing this out to 5 will increase the rate that you autofish or even normally fish, so it is highly beneficial to hit this. I'll show you the different gear and items that get you this combination later on in the video. The next stat is under the Life Info tab, and that is your fishing mastery. If you navigate to the actual life skill tab on its own and then hover over the fishing stat, you will see that your mastery stat, which increases with certain gear as well as with your fishing level, increases the chance for you to get a prize catch. For ease of understanding, a prize catch is basically just an ancient relic, which you can sell in the marketplace or use to farm things later. As you fish more, the stat will passively increase, so don't really worry too much about this. Just know that as you increase it, you're going to get better drops as you go along, and you'll also be able to fish for longer because it reduces the amount of damage that your rod takes every time you fish. The final stat is auto fishing time. So on my Bolaños fishing rod that you see right here that I'm using, it says auto fishing time minus 25% at the very bottom. So auto fishing in general has a 3-minute timer. So the fishing level will reduce the amount of time it takes you to get your bite. And then after you've got the bite, you have to wait 3 minutes for your character to auto fish and collect the fish. If you reduce that auto fishing time, it reduces that 3-minute time that you wait for your character to reel in the fish. You can also get auto fishing time reduction from pets. And through these 2 means, you can have over a 50% reduction to that time, taking it down under a minute and a half. So that's basically it for the base stats that impact fishing. Now let's take a look at how we choose our fishing spot that we're going to do auto fishing at. If you've played this game for any amount of time, you've probably gotten to Velia at some point and wondered, why does everybody auto fish over here on this beach rather than like 6 feet down there where there's nobody? And that's because the beach over here has a different drop table for fish than if you were to go fish over on that side of Velia. Every single location that you can fish in Black Desert has a different drop table of fish. This site right here has a list of all of the different locations you can fish, as well as what fish you can catch. So as you can see, the Velia beach spot that we're at right now has the opportunity to catch rare fish. If we were to go to just straight up Velia, just a little bit further down, there are only common fish in the drop table. So by fishing in front of that beach, we end up getting a better drop table for better and more expensive fish. The rest of this video is going to take place only in Velia. I'm just going to show you how to deal with it at this one spot to make it simple. But do note that you might want to try and find a different location using this table to see improved gains. So now we got all the numbers down and what they mean. We also know where we're going to go ahead and start our auto fishing journey. How do we get started auto fishing itself though? So we're going to head over to a fish vendor. Fish vendors are located throughout the world. The one in Velia is Creo right down by the dock. Go ahead and talk to Creo, click on his shop, and pick up a fishing rod for 500 silver. To actually get started auto fishing, head on back over to the beach, press I to open your inventory, take out the fishing rod that we just purchased, and then all you gotta do is press spacebar. And then the waiting game begins. After a few seconds, you're gonna get a little icon that pops up above your screen, or above your character rather, and it's gonna be this little fish flapping about. This means that you can go ahead and catch the fish manually if you wanted to. Or you can wait the 3 minutes as we discussed earlier, and it will auto catch the fish for you. Now, because I just want to show you how to play the actual minigame for fishing in case you want to do manual fishing at some point in your life, if you press the spacebar to start the catching game, you're going to get a little thing. You need to press spacebar again when it's inside of the blue, and then you need to use W, A, S, and D to complete the little button sequence. Do not use the arrow keys, even though it tells you to use the arrow keys, W, A, S, D. But that will go ahead and catch the fish manually. Otherwise, if you press spacebar, you could walk away right now, and every time that little icon pops up, 3 minutes later your character will catch the fish, and then he'll automatically throw the line, or he or she will automatically throw the line right back into the water and continue to repeat this process. So if you wanted to go make lunch, go to sleep, go to work, whatever you wanted to do, you could have your character sitting here auto fishing. And that's basically how you auto fish and get started with auto fishing. But there's a lot better gear than just this crappy rod that we bought from Creo, so let's start talking about that. If you're going to be serious about auto fishing and running this every single night before you go to bed or while you're at work or anything like that, you're going to want to pick up a Bolaños fishing rod as soon as possible, preferably the plus 10 version. The plus 10 version has 100 durability on the base side, which is fantastic. It'll let you fish for a lot longer, especially if you're fishing overnight. But at plus 10, it also has a 25% reduction to auto fishing, as we mentioned earlier in this video. This is like the staple for anyone who is auto fishing long periods of time. They will all have this Bolaños fishing rod plus 10, and if you want to get into auto fishing, you're going to want it. But do note that lower tiers of the fishing rod will improve your auto fishing time too. So if you don't have the 130 million silver that it costs you right now, you could pick up a lower version, build up some money through auto fishing, and then buy the better one later. The next item that you will see just about every single fisher that's a free-to-play fisher anyway using are going to be these silver embroidered fisher's clothes. The reason you're going to pick these up is because it provides you fishing ability plus 2. So as we discussed earlier, increasing your fishing level will increase the amount of time or decrease the amount of time it takes before you catch a fish. In addition to the plus 2 of this, if you're in a guild that has the fishing plus 3 buff, you will get your plus 5 fishing buff without needing any other gear whatsoever. So the plus 2 silver embroidered fisher's clothes only cost 16 million. Get into a guild with the plus 3 fishing and you will have your maxed out fishing stat without having to do any additional work. It's really, really awesome, especially for someone that doesn't want to invest real life cash into this. If you can't get into a guild that has that plus 3 fishing, literally form your own guild and start throwing messages out into the server chat to try and get people in the guild that want to do the same thing as you. I'm sure there's more people that would want to. Now, if you're seriously thinking about putting money into this game, you might want to consider investing into a Baidoof, or a Marmot as this game calls it, I guess, but that's totally a Baidoof. Anyway, the reason you want this pet is because it reduces the amount of time that it takes you to autofish by 10%. So that 3-minute timer, it'll reduce it by 10% at base level. After you've leveled it up to level 10, it will reduce it by 20%. And if you spend even more money, you could take it up to tier 4, which would reduce it by 30%. But for the most part, tier 1 of this pet is more than enough, so if you want to spend $11 on this game, this would be a great thing if you're interested in auto fishing. Now, if you're looking to go even more hardcore, pay-to-win kind of person, you could buy additional inventory slots. Now, inventory slots can be purchased with loyalties, so every 10 days that you're logged in, you can increase your inventory by 1 on your fisher if you want to. Or you could buy larger bundles for pearls, which will allow you to fish for even longer. Other items you could purchase if you want to improve your fishing rates are going to be maple or ash tree floats, which will increase the chance of getting specific fish. And if you want to, you could purchase the disposable Krios fishing chair, which will increase the ancient relic drop rate essentially while you're fishing for your next 100 casts. A final purchase you could think about making would be an Etheria sailboat after you've amassed a huge fortune, because this will allow you to sail out into the ocean. And in the ocean, there are different drop tables and better drop tables, frankly, which you can then use to make more money in the coming parts of the video. So that's basically going to do it for fishing gear. There's also loggy accessories you could use to increase your overall life skill masteries or increase the EXP you get from fishing. But in general, the only items you're going to really need for auto fishing are going to be this plus 10 Bolaños fishing rod, as well as these plus 2 silver embroidered clothes. After you've got those, you're pretty much set to do all the auto fishing you want and don't really have to worry too much, especially as a beginner or new player that doesn't want to spend a ton of money on these types of things. So you're looking at about 150 million initial investment. So I have been fishing for the entirety of this video so far, and this is what I picked up in my inventory, but let's pretend that I've been fishing for all night and I picked up a bunch of items and this is what I have, okay? So now we need to look at how do we actually make money from these items? Where do we go to sell these items? How do we make the actual cash from the auto fishing? So the first items that you're going to notice in your inventory are going to be ancient relic shards. You can either sell these on the marketplace straight out, make the 870,000 silver that they're worth right now, and call it a day. Or you can hold on to them until you get 5 of them from auto fishing, combine them together to get memory fragments that you then sell on the marketplace for a little bit more money. It's up to you whether you want the instant gratification or if you want to hold on to them and do a little bit more work. The next items you're going to pick up are going to be keys, as well as other miscellaneous junk items that you can just vend to a vendor for like 10 silver. I didn't actually get any of those while I was doing this, so I apologize, but the keys I was going to throw out. Finally, we have all of the different fish, and we actually got lucky and got one of every rarity that's available. So we got green, blue, gold, and red. Each fish has a value, so for example, this Corvina has a 1 million silver value if I was to go and sell it to a trade market person, which is pretty cool. However, we can actually get more money for some of these fish before we just go ahead and vend them to a vendor. Do note that every single fish you catch has a timer running on it, so the fish that I caught more recently would be something like this one that has a 23-hour and 37-minute timer left on it, or if we go to one of the first fish that I caught, this one's only got 23 hours and 20 minutes left on it. So as the timer decays on the fish, they will be worth less and less money, so you want to sell them as soon as possible. Obviously, this isn't entirely possible while you're auto fishing overnight, but as soon as you get up in the morning, make sure to go ahead and sell all those fish. But the first place you're going to want to go to sell all these fish is going to be the Imperial Fish Trader. So to move a little bit faster, throw your weapon back on, and head on over to the Imperial Fish Trader in Velia, who is right down here by the docks. It's this dude right here, Imperial Fishing Delivery Charon. He's not too far away from Creo, who is right over there. Let's go ahead and talk to him and click Imperial Fishing. Here you're going to see all of the fish that he's looking for and how much he's willing to pay. So you'll see all the fish that you have in your side of the inventory over here, and you'll see that they're getting a 250% bonus on what they would normally go for. So what you want to do is whenever you're done with your late night, overnight fishing session, stop by this guy and sell him whatever he will take. Do note that he will only take so many of each type of fish, and after all players on the server have traded him enough times of that fish, he will not be able to trade it anymore. So this grunt I cannot trade anymore because he's reached his 0 exchange limit. If you want to find other exchange merchants like this for the 250% bonus, there's another one located in Glish down here. There's one located in Port Etheria way over here. Another Imperial Fishing Delivery guy can be found down here by these docks in this general area. And a final one is in Valencia City way out here. But if you don't feel like traveling all that distance to those places to trade in the fish and it's not really worth it to you, then you can head on up to the nearest trade manager. The nearest trade manager in Velia is right up here by the stables. It is Bahar. When you click on Bahar, if you click trade, you will go ahead and see a certain price for all of the different fish that you have listed here. And you could just go ahead and sell all of them if you want to. You could also play a bargain game that allows you to spend some energy and solve a puzzle with the guy. If you successfully complete the little mini game, you will get additional money for the fish based on your trade level. However, there's one more thing you should know about fish. If you get a full inventory and it's pretty full with very valuable fish, you may want to consider trading at a different trade manager than the one located right in Velia. This is because based on where you sell the fish from where you got it, you will get an additional percentage bonus on the value of the fish, similar to think of like importing lobsters to a different city that's way inland in a country. By bringing the fish from the coast to a further inland city or to a city that's way further away from wherever you are, you will get an increased revenue. So for example, if I was to take this fish that I caught from Velia using this calculator to Heidel, just a few cities south or a few steps south, I would gain an additional 7.5% bonus to the value of the fish. This calculator will be in the description below, so if you want to see how much more money you can make from any journey that you would take, you can do that. The reason that we talked about in the start of the video why a boat could be a huge bonus, if we go from like a Megoria node that's way out in the ocean, let's just pick that one, and we were to take it to Heidel, we would get a 100% bonus to the value of the fish, so double the money from the fish that we caught. Basically, the further you take a fish to its next location, the more money you will get. But anyway, after you complete the bargain minigame, you'll also get a little bump to the value of the fish, and then you can go ahead and just click sell all on them. But anyway, guys, that's basically it. That's how you make the money with auto fishing through Imperial Fish Delivery, transporting them to cities very, very far away from the origin city, and either selling on or keeping the ancient relic crystal shards. A few more mechanics to explain. The fishing resources mechanic that's up at the top of the screen. So you can see it right now at the top. Maybe if I put it in the water, you can see that it says fishing resources exhausted. What this means is that it's going to take you longer to get a catch or longer to get a bite, as opposed to a location that was less populated by players. So that's the reason we were mentioning at the start of the video. You might want to find a different location if you're trying to autofish as fast as possible. The next thing we're going to talk about is the do not board other ships when you are fishing. So this little checkbox that you see right here that's popping up under all the text that's popping on my screen, I'm sorry. This box will prevent you from getting scooped by another player who then takes you out into the ocean and then sends you to your death or drops you in the ocean and leaves you out there. So when you log back in, you are confused as to why you're nowhere near any land. So make sure you have that box checked at all times while you're auto fishing to prevent that situation. The final thing on this menu or this little UI here is this discard fish below a certain value. So this discard fish below a certain value will only appear as you gain fishing levels. What it does basically is it throws away all fish that are that color or below. So if you're only going for goldfish on your overnight fishing adventure and you don't have a lot of inventory spots to waste on green fish, check the blue one and you'll throw away everything that's blue or below. If you only want to go for ancient relic shards, you can throw away yellow fish. I don't have a high enough fishing rank to be able to do that. This unlocks as you improve your fishing stat, your fishing rank here, your life skill. But anyway, guys, that is basically it for the entirety of auto fishing. Those are all the mechanics. That's what you need to know as a completely new player. Basically, your TLDR version, go out, save up some money, pick up a Bolaños fishing rod plus 10, pick up silver embroidered fisher's clothes plus 2, get into a guild with the fishing bonus, go to any body of water, put on the fishing pole, press spacebar, check that little box at the top, and come back in about 8 hours. And that's it. That's all you need to know. Anyway, guys, if this video helped you, if you found it useful, make sure to leave a like, check out some of the other videos on the channel, and make sure you're subscribed once again so you stay updated when new content comes out. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you at the next stream, video, or wherever I happen to see you. Peace.